And hello again, welcome to the Templar Report. Me, your guest presenter, Jim Dowson. Now remember, before we go on, like the video, click subscribe, press the bell, comment below. And please, folk, would you share this on your social media sites, like your, I don't know what they're all called, but you know the ones. And I heard Parlour's back up, so there we go. They sacked the CEO. Should have horsewhipped him, but anyway, we can have that up in 2 days for them. But it's back, allegedly, so we shall see what Parlour does. And a very happy Shrove Tuesday, or as people nowadays call it, Pancake Tuesday, for tomorrow is Ash Wednesday, the start of Lent, 40 days of sacrifice. Be interesting to see what people are going to give up over this period. I mean, I grew up Presbyterian, we never done this, but even the Presbyterians are doing it now. It's not really a tradition that I grew up with, but I know most Christendom does. So, yep, we're getting into Lent, the time of fasting, as we lead towards the most precious time of the Christian calendar, which is not Christmas, I may add, it's Easter, because that is the sacrifice there at Golgotha, the crucifixion and the resurrection. So it's the 40 days leading up to it. So happy Shrove Tuesday to one and all, and to those who are getting the ashes on the head tomorrow, God bless you. And let us remember the 40 days of sacrifice leading up to Easter. Okay, right, a wee bit out the book of Proverbs here, folks. Chapter 24, verse 19. Fret not thyself because of evil men, neither be thou envious at the wicked. For there shall be no reward to the evil man, and the candle of the wicked shall be put out. Amen. I know the Lord will bless this, the public reading of his own infallible, inspired and inerrant word. Amen. And sometimes Christians do that, don't they? They envy evil men. They say, look at him, look what he's got, and he's a bad guy, and look what I've got, nothing, I'm a good guy, blah, blah, blah. Do not envy evil men, because their end thereof is destruction, and their light shall be put out. So, if you're not... Now today we've got a special guest. I've got lots to talk about. It's Mr. Nick Griffin, one-time leader of the BNP, British National Party, and elected representative to the European Parliament, and the most successful, in my opinion, the most successful political party in Western Europe, right-wing political party in Western Europe, and certainly in Britain by a country mile. So are you there, Mr. Griffin?
I am, Mr. Dowson. I am.
How are you today?
Yes. I'm very well, thank you. On the question, by the way, of most successful in Europe, not in terms of numbers elected and so on. That's only possible if you consider the fact that Britain has a uniquely difficult electoral system. And at that point, you can then say, actually, that, we had higher votes, for instance, than Golden Dawn did. Never higher votes, I would say, than the Front National reached, as a matter of honest, matter of fact. But certainly in the English-speaking world, no doubt about it, the most successful.
Amen. And sadly missed. Now,
well, yes, but those times have gone.
They have, aye. Well, don't be saying that to Don't be saying that to Mark Collett, because he's telling everybody he's going to be riding high soon. So shush, don't upset the man. He's all over the paper today. He's getting what's he in the paper today? Warzone. Yeah, he's plotting to take over Britain by inducing young teenagers into playing Warzone and Call of Duty. If only we'd have thought of that, sir. If only we'd have thought of that. But there we go. The pantomime continues. Lunacy. Now let's have a wee look, see who's just on the chat quickly. I don't think I'll be able to go through them all, but I'll say hello to those I can see. Anthony Rebello, God bless you. Heinrich Johansson, God bless you. Jacob Lewis. Tim Schroeder, how you doing? Still trucking through Texas, excellent. Malcolm Cook, Wes Stover, Jonathan Boudin, Sherry B, Andy McBride, Ewan Eggerstrom, EMS Rejuvenation, Mr. Machocha, Colette Whitney, Brian Payton, Troy Otto, Scott Rash, how you doing, Scott? Malcolm Cook, Kit Bear's back, Bartley Burker, yes, Maxime Hornby. Let me see now. Let me see what they're saying there. Pastor piece last night. It would be a shame the devil twisted a good message they've had due to hatred. Yes, we don't like hatred. Yes. Who else have we got? Templars. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, aye, by the way, you're allowed to hate in the Bible. You can hate with a perfect hatred and a righteous hatred, but to God's enemies. So hatred's all right, as long as it's God's enemies you hate, not just something who's stole your milk or something like Thomas Roberts, how you doing in Scotland there? Philip Milne, God bless you, sir. Lady Rotha, God bless you. I like Lady Rotha in there. Gary Hardwick, Joseph Taylor, the Scorpions creeping about there. Kenneth Driver, Creed Cast, how you doing? Jonathan Boudin, God bless you. Templar Guard, Ernie Virrell, how you doing? Jim Young, how you doing yourself, sir? Graham, I've seen Graham there. Kit Bay, I've seen him. I think I've just about done it. And William D. Chico, God bless you, sir. He's a good man. He's always praying for me, him. Thank you. So what have we got today, Mr. Griffin? Well, I'm going to bring you, if you don't mind, Mr. Griffin, before I bring you, I'm going to bring you a wee funny story. Would you like a wee funny story?
I love a wee funny story. Oh, yes.
Would the good people out there like a wee funny story? Well,
I'm sure they would.
The World Trade Organization, which is in crisis at the moment because they're having to fight with China and Russia and all these emerging countries who are all playing up and playing dirty. So we've thought, right, we need some heavy guns in here. Now, there might be a logic in this, Mr. Griffin. I thought at first that this is daft. But when you're dealing with sneaky, slippery types, maybe this is the right person for it. So we've scoured the world for the world's most experienced business brains. And the World Trade Organization has come up with, now when I see, have we got a name for this?
Oh, I can bring it up for you.
I need to bring it up because I can't pronounce it. It's not possible. It's not possible. The name is Ngozi Ungonja Iweala. I'll repeat that. Ngozi Ungonja Iweala. She is the ex-finance minister for Nigeria. I said doctor, I beg your pardon. I do beg your pardon. Dr. Ngozi Ungonja Iweala. The ex-finance minister for that wonderfully stable country and beacon of fiscal prudency, Nigeria. Now, somebody told me, that could be her has been sending these emails out over the years, Do you know that one? I am a prince. My brother is in jail. Send me your bank details. I'll give you 300 million. I don't know, but that's now the head. The Americans tried to block it under President Trump, but obviously now Biden's went, oh, that's a wonderful idea. So this is who's the head of the World Trade Organization. I thought right away, that's crazy. But then again, if she's having to deal with the Chinese and all these other sneaky beaky characters, maybe a Nigerian is the best person to deal with them. But what a state. Sir Vic Vivor said, Mark Collett is youth behind them. Shut up, he's 40-year-old and he's a balloon and he's playing Warcraft. Any more of that, you'll be off of this. We'll have no more of that nonsense. Good grief. He's playing with 12-year-olds. Get a grip of yourself. In another sphere of time, maybe if the cops are at his door looking for an intervention. Get a grip, youth in his sight, for flip's sake. Prevent her, right, so next, what we're looking for. What do you think of that, Mr. Griffin? That craziness?
Well, I'd say if there's certainly a sneaky people out there in the world, and none sneakier than the regimes of the NATO bloc. Yeah. They're the real sneaky ones in this world, Jim. Even worse than the Chinese. I've got no particular time for the Chinese, but the Chinese are just playing basically a straight bat, looking after the Chinese, looking after China. That's what countries are supposed to do. Yeah. They're not wanting to conquer the world. They're not trying to impose heterosexuality on the West because they believe in heterosexuality. The global homo thing comes from the United States of America, from the deep state there, and also from the British and from the European Union. But yeah, if these people are daft enough to think that a Nigerian can sort out their financial problems.
Yeah, it's crazy. Oh, I just must correct that. Survivor, I do beg your pardon, he said he actually meant Mr. Collett has the youth behind him. I don't doubt it, sir. I don't doubt it one bit. And I'm quite sure he likes the young boys behind him. Anyway, we shall move on. Right, Mr. Griffin, what have you got for us today?
Well, look at one story, Jim, which I thought was very interesting, and let's move from strange people in Britain to real people in the USA. Because Texas at present, it's very, very cold. I think it's getting a little bit warmer, but it's basically down to zero, which, you've been there. It's pretty unusual for Texans to feel that cold. It must be really vicious. But it's not that that's the problem. It's the fact that there's been a state of emergency called, because not only is it very cold, but the power is going out on a huge scale. As of a couple of hours ago, there were 4.4 million Texans without power. in a part of the world where they're not really used to cold. The houses aren't meant for cold, and it's now around about freezing. There's people living in their cars because there's no heat in the house, no light in the house. So if you live in your car with the car engine on and the heater full blast, you don't freeze to death. No power. It has knock-on effects. Because there's no power, there's various cities there now saying you've got to boil the water before you drink it because we're not able to treat the water. Wow. How you're supposed to boil the water when you don't have power, that's another question. In some areas, the cell phones, the mobile phones, are going out because the backup generators at the masts have run out of diesel. And there's a favourite search, apparently, in large parts of Texas, an online search. What's the online search? Searching for firewood near me. That's how bad it's getting. And obviously, it's rather exceptional. This cold weather is really exceptional, no doubt about it. But for the last 4 years, America had a president which said we're going to go for energy independence and we're going for energy-dense fossil fuels, for coal, for gas, for oil. We're going to stick with those. From now on, of course, America now has a supposed president who's saying we're leaving all that behind, we're going deep green, we've got the green agenda, and we're going to be scrapping all those nasty, filthy fossil fuels that actually work, and we're going to be moving on to alternative power sources, which we were talking about last week in Germany. You know how unreliable those are, also in either very cold weather or very hot weather. So what we're seeing in Texas, it gives Americans a little glimpse of what now is exceptional, but is going to be absolutely the norm regardless of the weather in the years ahead. This is a glimpse into the future. And just one more thing on this, Jim, that before this cropped up and before this power crisis developed, we had, from one of our contributors in the new book, Deus Vult, The Great Reset Resistance, we had someone saying that among the things, and it's in there, among the things you have to do, as well as diversifying out of rotting dollars and rotting sterlings into other hoards of value, you've also got to do things like sort out to make sure you have independent water supply, if you possibly can, or at least the ability to filter and clean and make safe dirty municipal water, and also that you need generators and you need firewood, because the times that are coming as this old society doesn't collapse, as it's deliberately demolished by these crazies and wicked men and women now grabbing power, you're going to need things as basic as water, electricity and heat, and you cannot rely on the state or the corporations to do it. If you want it for your family, do it for yourself.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I'm only 10 miles outside the city, but I have a well, which was the main source of water for 5 houses. We live in a clachan, which is a gathering of houses. It was used up until 1982. It was the only supply of water up until 1982. When we got a 3-inch pipe put in, but that size, utterly useless. I mean, but we have a roaring torrent with a pump and everything. You can put a bucket down, lift the water up, fresh as a daisy. You don't need to filter it. It's fine. It's coming through rock. And I recently went out there and bought. I think I hope I did put a link up for them. I bought one of these. I think it's called a Pretty, P-R-I-T-I, Pretty stove cookers from Bulgaria. Dirt cheap it was, 300 quid. And it's got the firebox, it's got the oven, it's got a cast iron top on it. Unbelievable, dirt cheap, £300. And I've got that installed as well. And I do cook on it all the time. It's fantastic. And I have a supply of wood. In fact, I got 6 ton of wood on Saturday. I was down to about 4 or 5 ton. But here it costs about £60 for 1 ton of hardwood. That's oak, beech or ash, which is about, $90? But 10 ton will last me a whole winter. No problem. If I'm burning it in the stoves, if I'm burning it in the open fire, no. It burns about 3 times quicker. But I don't burn that in the open fire. I burn peat, turf, because the turf settles down and doesn't do much. So I also have about 100 bags of turf, which is very cheap. So for 25 kilos around here, it's about £2 for 25 kilos of turf. You know, and it's all good. Do you have much turf for you, Mr. Griffin?
No, it's never been a thing really. I actually live near a place where there still is large amounts of peat, but it's buried beneath about a foot of soil. I suppose if one had to, you could dig that up. There's an awful lot of it there. Would of course be illegal. But no, turf hasn't been an English thing for probably 250 years, I think, when they took away our rights to dig turf on the commons.
Yeah, they were trying to do it in Ireland. They were trying to actually ban people and take them to court for digging up turf. Yeah, they were trying to ban them, but the Irish defied them and went to court. It took about 5 years, but they won their case. So yeah, it's very good. Now I just got to say to Techie brother, no harm to that fella there. We're going to ban him. There's somebody up there talking. The guy must be a clown if he thinks Mark Collett's some kind of hero. Get him off, ban him. He says he doesn't want to say too much, in case I'll ban him. You've said more than enough, sir. So you're getting banned because you must have the brain of a gnat. You shouldn't be here. You shouldn't be in amongst the adults. Go away. Can't be bothered with it. And that's it. Is he banned? Aye. Good. Complete idiot. I mean, you're looking at a guy who's a complete moron, and this guy's defending him. Get off. Go away. So that's that. Now, Mr. Griffin, I want to talk a wee bit today about cryptocurrency and bits and bobs. What's your personal views on the crypto stuff?
I think that it's easy for people to think, this is something new, I'm suspicious, I'll stay where I am, I'll keep my money in cash, I'll keep it in the bank. And that is a terribly wrong move to make. Because as we were saying the other day, the sheer scale of money printing that's gone on, quantitative easing, since 2008, and it's gone particularly mad in the last year, the sheer scale of that is such that it's simply guaranteed that the dollar, the pound sterling, the euro, and so on are going to depreciate at a terrifying rate, really starting next week, effectively. This will be a rolling thing. So if you leave your money in the bank, it's simply rotting. It's going to decay. So you've got to do other things with it. And I think that everybody, if people who are fortunate enough to have money to spare, to think, well, what do I do with it, will follow the serious professionals, people like Warren Buffett, follow the serious investors, and spread where you've got your assets. So you should have some in property. If you can get productive land, have productive land. You should have some in gold and silver, and the really big, serious investors are moving some of their assets into crypto. Not the whole lot, that'd be insane, but some of it, because it's another store of value, and it's something which, the more the existing fiat currencies are facing real problems, the more useful it will be, the more trusted it will be, and therefore the more it will either hold its value relative to the others, or potentially, as it has been recently, massively increase its value. I think the only thing I would say is that if you're in a position where if you put your money into it, you might in 3 months' time have to take it out regardless of the price, then don't do it.
Yeah.
You have to be in a position where you put it in and you can cash it in when the time is right, not cashing it in when you're forced to.
Yeah, I think you're right.
The same is true as gold.
Yeah, it's sound advice. I think that's very sound advice, because people can get greedy and they get carried away with themselves and go mad. We don't want people, we've got to be very careful being a religious organisation. We don't want to be the source of avarice or greed. We want to be, to be able to defend people. In fact, I've got a wee statement here, Mr. Griffin, I'm going to read out. I think you've already seen it. Yeah. It's from HQ. So I'm going to read this out.
Jim, just before you read that, can I read you one paragraph from from a chapter of the new book?
Yes, why not?
Specifically about this. So this is about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency.
Yes, please do.
Because it points out that this isn't just about, this is something you put money in, and because for some strange reason other people might put money in, you might make lots of money. It's much more than that, and this paragraph I think sums it up. Miners, because the statement you're reading there, as you say, I've seen it. So it's about the Templars moving into, in a small way, into cryptocurrency mining. So this paragraph talks about that. Miners are not only paid in Bitcoin, but also earn a fee whenever a blockchain block they've created is used to move or store data. There's nothing complex or suspicious about this. Blockchain is created by answering mathematical equations. Blockchain has a myriad of valuable commercial applications online. If you invest electricity and computer memory power to create blockchain, you are therefore paid in a related cryptocurrency to produce it and then paid rent when it's used.
Yeah, very good. And I think there's a moral lesson in that as well. Now, somebody, a good sister there, said, money is the root of all evil. No, no, no. Another one, the second most misquoted part of the Bible, after judge not. The love of money is the root of evil. The love, not money itself, the love of. Just I like to correct folk on that one. It's my job. So there you go. Well, let me read this. This is statement. KT Mining Consortium, prospectus 221-224. Today we all recognise the astronomical rise in the cryptocurrency market. We have seen Bitcoin and other main currencies rise by factors of hundreds in months, sometimes in days. With this in mind, and given the uncertain times in which we live, and knowing full well that a crash in the debased paper currency is inevitable, the Templars have employed our IT resources to venture in a limited and controlled way into crypto mining. It has always been a core principle for the Templar Order to protect the faithful, especially members of our order. Financial security is no less a part of our commitment and holy obligation where possible. To put things into perspective, as of the 1st of February 2021, more than 25% of all US dollars ever printed, here right now, were produced in the previous 12 months. Just let that sink in a minute, folks. A quarter of all dollars were only produced last year. My goodness. This will result in a financial catastrophe of unimaginable proportions and serious hardship for normal working people. The Council of Nine of the Templar Order have therefore authorised and underwritten, this is a big surprise, this is why it's very exciting today, and underwritten the formation of a legally registered limited company with an initial share capital of £100,000, British pounds, to be divided into blocks of 100 share stocks, each worth £1,000. These are available to members of the order only and shall be strictly allocated to a maximum ownership of 10 stocks per household. Risk-free investment for Templar members. I love this order for these type of things. This is fantastic. The business world is not something Templars care much for, nor is speculative stock trading and the like. However, being fully convinced that a financial disaster is on its way, we have a moral obligation to defend and protect our people from its effects, just as we would take physical action in the case of violent attack on our people personally. Therefore, and to shield the order's reputation from any negative connotations, and you know how people go on with financial stuff, the Knights Templar Order International is guaranteeing all share investments by underwriting 100% of the personal investment of all members in its first 3-year period and subject to review thereafter. Where are you going to get that? Warren Buffett wouldn't give you that. So anybody thinks, oh, it's a scam, it's a swizz, not when it's underwritten 100%. It's quite incredible. So unlike any other investment in the world, this is risk-free on the part of the investor. We see the enterprise as a central part of our holy mission and defence plan for these difficult times. What can you expect for your investment? The short answer, we have no idea. However, based on the last few years' performance and the rapidly expanding role of cryptocurrencies in online business, trading and contracting, many financial experts believe that we may see the investment multiply exponentially over the next 3 years. That is why many of the world's biggest companies and private investors have already diversified into crypto. Some experts say a tenfold rise is more than likely, with others like Russia Today, Max Kaiser, people like that, predicting rises of 400 times the rate it is today. However, with the order underwriting the whole investment, we can be assured of not losing a penny or a cent, and that is something no bank on earth would ever give you. Whether you double your investment or multiply it by 400 times is a matter for God and His hands upon our young crypto mining team staff, drawn from the best young guns of the order from the UK, Ireland, Sweden, Hungary, Serbia, and a few other places. This is written by the gaffer, the boss, of course. I do not pretend to grasp their skill, but I know them as men, and as fine, decent, honest young Templars, I vouch for them without hesitation. So, over to you, and Godspeed in your new endeavour as a shareholder in a bona fide crypto mining company. There we go. Very nice. What do you think of that, Mr. Griffin? I think it's quite incredible.
I think it's very, very good. It's innovative, and as I said before, it's something which people who've got assets should look to diversify into. And so you've got a choice of going online and finding someone you've no idea who they are, where you won't have a guarantee like that, or coming this way.
Have you ever heard of a stock thing being underwritten?
No, I haven't. I must admit, it's not. Never having had any money for virtually all my life, it's not something I've particularly looked into. But it's nothing I've ever heard of.
I had some stocks when I was younger, but they weren't underwritten. You know, you took your chances, and that was the end of it. If it went well, it went well. If it didn't go well, you lost it. But actually underwriting, I can imagine, and I'm pretty sure why this has been done, because the left and the liberals and the enemies of the order, these weirdos who float about the internet, they'll be saying, oh, look at this, there's no guarantee, getting your money and you never see it again, all this. So I think the order's done that to say, no, not only are we confident that we're going to make people money, we're so confident we're going to underwrite it. And for £100,000, it's not a lot of money to the order. So they're underwriting it, guaranteeing it, so there can be no snide comments, no backbiting, no accusations, because I think the order would do very well to stay out the murky world of finance as a general rule. And I think that's where they're going with that. They really don't want to be seen as speculative, people and people who are involved in commerce. I think that's why the order's done that. And I totally agree with it. Totally agree with it. So, we've had a lot of people on, Mr. Griffin, and I mean a lot of people. Who's these boys that's investing today, the big investing companies? Wait do you see what's happened just today? I want to show you people what's happening today, because people are getting edgy and think we're going to miss out. You won't miss out, believe me. This thing goes up and down like a roller coaster, so don't worry too much. But there are big mainstream people now, openly and aggressively getting into this. But they're getting in at the level where they're buying the stuff. They're not mining it. We're actually mining this because it's the sweat of your brow. We don't really believe in usury and sneaky ways of making money. We believe in working for money. So we're going to have to work for this money, which is the best way of doing it. But there's huge corporations now actually putting hundreds and hundreds of millions of pounds of their investments into cryptocurrency. And that means not just Bitcoin, but Ethereum. And there's other coins out there. So there's a lot of them doing it now. And it's a big hedge fund, one of the big hedge funds. But if you look at the charts as well, have you no charts, brother?
Yes.
Yeah, well, let me show you some charts. Let me show you some charts.
That's over the last 5 years.
That's over the last 5 years. Is this Bitcoin? Look at Bitcoin over the last 5 years. So where did it start off there 5 years ago?
It doesn't actually show me there, but it was approximately about 60, about $120 roughly.
About $120. Where is it today?
$48,400.
$48,000 today. Where was it a month ago?
Approximately a month ago was about
$20,000. It's up to $48,000. The whole thing is insane, but the way this goes, we're expecting a crash on that. That's good for you. If you're investing, that's good for you. We want a crash on it at the moment, so we can mine like wee beavers and get it all in, and then it goes mad again. But remember, they're talking about Bitcoin could go up to $1 million and then fall back down to between 250 and 500,000. It's insane. So we what we're hoping for now is a crash. So whatever we mine is more valuable, and we can mine far more of it. So that's what we're hoping for. We don't want it to keep going up and down. We want it to crash, and then we can mine more effectively and bank it. And that's where we're going with it. So, yeah, we're still earning. We can still earn all the time. And when it spikes, we can sell it. And when it goes down, we can buy it again on top of the mining. So whatever way you look at it, we're going to be on this like a rash. We're Templars. We do things. We do them right. And that's it. So that's what we're going to be doing. And we're now going to open the gates because we've been flooded with people. As I say, it is limited to Templars only. It's limited to a certain amount. Don't put everything you've got in the planet on it. Just, whatever you can. And if you're open, you're more than happy. And I'm sure you'll make some good money on it. God bless you with that. So we're going to put a link up to the crypto there. You'll get sent to you your share certificate, legal share certificate. You have to keep that in a safe place in your safe or give it to your attorney, lawyer, whatever. But that's your share certificate. Now, what the company will probably do is after a year or two, we'll pay out dividends. Or you can cash your shares in. It's up to you. It's entirely up to you. Do what you want with it. We would appreciate if people don't sell the shares outside the order. Okay? We really don't want that. So if you're selling your shares, sell it to somebody within the order, or HQ will buy it from you at the full market value. We do not want these outside our people. And that's it. Or you leave your shares where they are and take the dividends, which could be very lucrative. We shall see. So there you go. It's open now. So for all those people who were torturing the life out of me yesterday, there you go. Get yourself in there. Fill your boots. Get in. By the way, there's only a limited amount of shares there. When they're gone, they're gone. Certainly within 12 months, we cannot do another stock issue. And it's a really complicated thing, so we probably will never do one. These stocks are gone. They're gone. So there's 100 bonds there. Some of those bonds have been held back for the order, so there ain't 100 available. So it's up to you. First come, first served. Get yourself in there. Don't be greedy. If you can afford to buy 10, I would say don't. Buy 5 or something like that. Give everybody a chance, and at the end, if there's some left and you want more, fine. But give everybody a chance, please. Give everybody a chance to get on the ladder here. And that would be the Christian thing to do, the nice thing to do. Okay, Mr. Griffin, what else have you got for us?
Well, I'd like to stay with this just a little while longer, Jim, if I may. That's to say that you say it's insane how it's going. It's not really insane, because this is a very useful new technology, this blockchain and so on, and Bitcoin and the rest. And Bitcoin in particular, there's only a finite number will ever be created. So they're very useful, and as a finite number will be created, what do you expect? That they go up in value. That's the way these things work. But then the more important thing really I want to say is, again, this is a short extract from a chapter in the book. And the book, as you know, covers the new book, covers a huge range of subjects all around the Great Reset. So just because we talked about this the other day, and I'm going to talk about it again for a couple more minutes, doesn't mean it's a big part of the book. It's just a small but important part of the book. And this goes to the question of the morality of this thing and dealing in stocks and shares and so on. So this is very important.
Yeah, I agree.
This is direct reading from it. Unlike fiat currencies, which are literally created out of thin air as usurious interest-bearing debts by parasitic private banks, cryptocurrencies genuinely come into being as proof of and remuneration for useful work done. It's not necessary to understand the complex mathematical concepts involved in blockchain technology. People have used gold for millennia without knowing anything about its chemical composition. People buy and sell shares in chemical companies without knowing the formulae of the products that give their shares value. We all use banknotes without knowing how to make paper and knowing that they have absolutely no value except as a promise. Christians should, however, thank God for the emergence of this new technology of value and exchange, which at least holds out the possibility that the era of usury may be brought to an end without crashing the real productive economy. In the sweat of thy face shalt thou earn bread. In Genesis 3:19, we are told that we are both doomed and morally bound to work for our living. The idea that money can of itself generate money is thus as unchristian as the poverty, misery, wars, and monopolistic destruction of private property that result from the bankster's fiat money swindle. Fiat money is immoral, while gold, produced by work, but innately idle and without use, save as a store of value, is amoral. Bitcoin and its relatives, by contrast, being based on prior work and actually useful in their own right, are the nearest mankind has yet come, producing what can be seen as moral currency.
Excellent, very good indeed. And I think that sums it up wonderfully, and that's in the new book. So, people get the new book, you really need it. I've seen one of the brothers there, Jonathan Boudin, saying, how much will my investment be worth after a year? No idea. We've no idea. but it won't be worth a penny less because the Templar Order is underwriting it. So it won't be worth any less, that's for sure. We can say that 100%. It'll be worth, at the very minimum, the exact same. Well, you tell me, a month ago, 2 months ago, Bitcoin was 15,000. Now it's 48,000. So I don't know. You tell me, brother. Nobody knows. I don't know. But it won't be worth a penny less, that's for sure. But I have no idea. If you invest 1,000, it could be worth 5. It could be worth 45. It could be worth 105. Nobody knows. It's a new technology. It's going berserk. It's going through the roof. We don't know. We just don't know. But would the Templars underwrite this and put it out to our members if they thought that you wouldn't do well? No. And the fact that they're underwriting it, so it's not possible for you to lose a penny, is incredulous. Just incredulous. So if you have to think about an investment where your money's guaranteed, it's probably no for you, to be honest. So there we go. But we'll put up and we'll put another link up there. Oh, now remember, before I go, we've still got loads of these. Come on, folks. The large King James print with the Templar Imprimatur on it. What a beautiful pulpit Bible, daily Bible, every day. Solid. Hard leather, but flexible. French Morocco leather. There we are. We have lots of these. Please get your orders in before the lady people in here who do our packaging beat me to death. Please get some orders in for the King James large print. I think there's a link up there for it. I don't know if the Techie Brother's putting a link up. I'm sure he is. So there you go. Get some of these. It's all right talking about your big money and your crypto stuff and all the rest of it. I don't know much about that. This is what I know about. Bibles. So don't be forgetting poor old me and our Bible mission sales, because these are important also. You know, Mr. Griffin, that's what happens. And all the young people, all these people, they all go for the new technology, don't they?
They do,
and they leave us old war horses stranded who know nothing about it. But I'm very excited. I mean, I'm always excited to be involved in the Templars thing. But I think what we've just seen today with the order actually underwriting the whole thing is such a it's just such a solid thing to do, and such a decent thing to do, and such a thing that gives confidence. I wouldn't have believed it unless I'd seen it with my own eyes. But I suppose, you know, it's £100,000 investment. It's no like, you know, mega bucks, but still a lot of money. And you know, for anybody who's watching there, I'd like to thank the order and the council for being so generous and for being so decent and being so just thoroughly decent in this thing, because everybody, a lot of our people our age, Mr. Griffin, you and I being too, we don't know enough about this stuff. It's just all mumbo jumbo. Well, it is to me. I don't know what you think, but to me it's mumbo jumbo. I don't understand it, but I did have the feeling like I was getting left behind. I was losing out, and now I can put a modest amount in myself for my own family, and there's no risk involved. So, I mean, are you more up to speed on it than me?
I'm not sure. 3 or 4 weeks ago, I definitely wasn't. And I made a point, because it was one of the things that came up, as I say in the book, in terms of diversification of assets. So I made a point of looking into it and speaking to several, you know, techies and so on I've known for years. Of course, all techies are mad, but you filter through the madness, and then just looking at, you know, what some of the really big boys out there in the world of real finance are doing and why. So, yeah, I think I'm now, the one thing I don't grasp is that Ethereum, one of the main reasons that Ethereum is slated to go up, you know, much more. It's lower than Bitcoin. I suppose it's to Bitcoin what silver is to gold, if you like. But Ethereum is in some way used for online contracts and securing contracts. So they're talking about it having a really powerful role to play in business operations. And I simply can't get my head around how it works. But I've looked at what the experts are saying, and they're saying that this is Ethereum's big advantage, that its currency is called Ether as opposed to Bitcoin. But not only is it a currency you can, you know, spend different places and cash in if you want to, or save if you're in a position to, but it's also in some way connected with, as I say, making contracts work. I don't know how, but I have to believe it, because everyone, including in serious financial newspapers, says that's what it does.
Yeah. I mean, I was the art skeptic, as you well know. It's quite incredible. But, the other thing is when people are checking out or paying dividends, we will be paying dividends only in crypto or gold. So you'll either get the money in crypto, if you want that, and a lot of young people will have that because they'll muck about with themselves, or gold, it's your choice. But we ain't going to be running about with dollars or pound notes. It'll be gold, actual coins, gold, which again, as an investment value goes up and up and up. So if you come to cash in, somebody will come and you come to a meeting with us, or chap your door. I don't know how it's all going to work. I've no idea. And somebody will give you a bag of gold coins. There's your money. Boom. Do what you want with it. You can go to the bank, cash it into dollars if you want. You can put it under your bed. Do what you want with it. But it'll be gold or crypto stuff. So that's how you cash in. So there you go. Yeah, John Boudin. Thanks, John Boudin. You're a very good giver. Excellent. Very good indeed. So I'll leave it all to you. It's now open. It wasn't going to be open until Monday next week. But I pushed for this, even though I'm not particularly well. I pushed for this because I was inundated with people. Just saying, look, we need to go into this. And I thought, for goodness sake. So we know everything was in place anyway. So there you go. You can have a share today in a bona fide crypto mining consortium corporation, incorporated. Quite interesting. I'm going to get one. And I'm going to tell people I am a director or a shareholder of a mining company. Has somebody got one already? Yeah, people are coming in now. Who's the first one? I don't want to mention the name online, but well done. Excellent. Quite a new name, actually. Not one of the old hands. Interesting. Probably some young buck. But there you go. So the first shareholder has now paid his money. And he is the first shareholder in the KT Mining Consortium Incorporated. So God bless you. And you get your certificate out as soon as possible. Give us a week or something. But yeah, we'll be in touch with you anyway. Behind the scenes, we'll be in touch with you. But there you go. First one. I wanted to be the first one. I was supposed to be the first one. What's going on, Mr. Griffin?
Snooze you lose, Jim. Snooze you lose.
Dear me, I was that busy getting all this sorted out for these people. And now I'm not the first one. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It'll all be good. And remember, keep in your prayers the young guys, the young team. They're all young men who are doing the mining. Because to me it looks like crazy stuff. I don't understand it. There's just fans everywhere and machines everywhere and things. Rigs, you call them, Mr. Griffin? Call them rigs. And there's got to be, we've had to go and get fans installed and all that stuff. But luckily it's very cold in this country to blow the hot air out. And the electricity is going crazy. It uses hundreds and hundreds of pounds worth of electricity every week. So, I don't know. I'm no doubt we'll have the police round to the Priory thinking we're growing cannabis or something like that, with the heat, because they fly the helicopters over Belfast and they look at the roofs to see who's grown cannabis plants. We'll probably get busted. Aye. The crypto guys are always getting busted thinking they're growing drugs. So we'll wait and see what happens. I'll deny all knowledge, of course. Is there anything else you've got for us before we go, Mr. Griffin, today?
Yeah. One very quick thing, Jim, completely different subject. Melinda Gates,
don't talk
wife
to me
of
about
Bill
that
Gates,
creature.
the most hated man on
You
the
know
planet.
I'm not feeling well. You know this. And you bring up Melinda Gates.
Melinda Gates. Well, this may make you feel even worse, perhaps, when we get to the end of it, because her big thing is family planning.
Oh, I know.
And she's had for the last few years a thing called Family Planning 2020.
It's a pity her mother wasn't into that.
And this coalition was there to encourage all sorts of family planning and what they call women's reproductive rights, which of course is shorthand not just for contraception but also particularly for abortion. So the Family Planning 2020 was launched in London, sponsored by Melinda Gates, the United Nations Population Fund and the government of the UK. So all the bad boys and girls in one place. And it's now being relaunched. So for the next 10 years, they're updating it to Family Planning 2030. And in the course of checking this thing out, came across this. They say that although Melinda, the sweet Melinda, said, I don't really want to get into abortion, we don't want to touch this, we want to avoid controversy, all the partners of this operation are heavily into promoting abortion. And they're also into what they call it sexual and reproductive health and rights. which are so controversial, for instance, that the African countries, being sensible, and many of them are either Christian or Muslim, they've said we're not having any of this, so the United Nations has got to stay out of this. So even the United Nations General Assembly has steered away from this sexual and reproductive health and rights because of its close connections with abortion and compulsory sex education, including the LGBT stuff for kids. But here's the classic bit, Jim, in looking at this. One of Melinda's partners is a Simon Cook, who's a CEO of one of the subgroups within it, has also spoken stridently about abortion. Of course, he's very in favour. And he says this: we have pathways for trans men to access abortion services at MSI clinics, although he acknowledges that these are infinitesimally small numbers.
So, let me get this right. They went so PC mad, twisted round the bend, they're actually providing abortion for trans men.
That's it.
And the very small numbers.
Yep.
Well,
but not you're taking them up on it.
I went completely mental. Well, I can tell you the number that's going to be. It won't be infinitesimally small. It'll be finite. It'll be zero. Zero.
Slim to zero.
It'll be absolutely zero. What a bunch of utter lunatics. I don't know. Well, listen, thanks very much, Mr. Griffin. God bless you for coming on. Maybe get you on at the end of the week if you're free.
Yep, sure.
And I'll keep you up to date with the crypto thing. Well, thank you, and a big thank you from everybody, all the people watching, to Mr. Nick Griffin, former MEP and leader of the British National Party. God bless you, Mr. Griffin. See you again. Cheers. Now, I see somebody on there apologising to me. I have no idea why. Graham, 19. For what? Oh, was it him? Aye. Well, the Bible says how many times you can give somebody? 7 times? No, 7 times 70. So I forgive you, brother. It's a great pleasure to see you being the first man in with the crypto stuff. And listen, I honestly pray that you make a bundle out of it, and it helps you and your family in these difficult times that no doubt lie ahead. May God bless you in your endeavours, and may God richly bring in a harvest for you. I mean that sincerely. God bless you. Okay, that's all for today, folks. What day is it today? Tuesday. All right, nobody's on tonight. Jada Franson's not on tonight. No. The big McConnell might be on. He may be on. The Sean Ahern, the Irish Patriot, Niall McConnell, he may be on in 10-15 minutes. So you have a look over there. And tomorrow, Jada Franson's back on with the British Freedom Party. So have a wee look there. So there you go. Aye. Sorry, been a late one today, but what good news, what fantastic news. This statement from the Order HQ is incredible, makes me ever so proud to be part of this organisation, and it should make you proud also. God bless everybody, and thank you very much to the boss man. Okay, that's all from me. Remember, if the good Lord preserves me, I'll see you tomorrow, and until then, stick close to God. You won't go far wrong. Do his fault.